Hello and welcome to No Prize Podcast. I'm the professor. That's Lucas. That's Johnny. What's going on, gentlemen?
Buffalo chicken dip,
Buffalo chicken dip,
tacos,
Super Bowl
chicken
Sunday.
wings. Yeah,
Yeah. None
all
of
the
our
stuff that
teams are
makes you
in it.
win. Yeah, you got to put on your extra large, extra large freaking sweatpants for this gentleman. You got to get ready. Got to buckle down and everything. You know,
It's
no,
serious. You gotta eat more when your team's not in it, right? So that's the rule.
yeah, because
You gotta eat your feelings.
yeah, freaking, bide your time while you're waiting for Usher to take the stage and maybe
Oh,
dance some of those calories off as it gets on the freaking stage or something like that. I don't know, man.
well, this seems to be the highlight. So what's going on in the world of Disney, Marvel? Anything going on with Disney Plus? Marvel's is on Disney Plus, right? You said, Johnny.
Yeah, Marvel's dropped this week.
So that means if you haven't seen it in the theaters, it's not as bad as everybody said.
I actually didn't think it was that bad at all, to be honest. I mean, the vibe of the movie isn't particularly my vibe, but I think they work really well together as a trio. The whole transporting from one place to another thing doesn't get super annoying, which was my big bugbear going in. I thought, oh, this is going to be awful, but yeah, it's a good, fun, brainless film that seems to have no massive repercussions for anything else down the line, so you can just go and enjoy it for watching a film. And I think that's somewhat of a palate cleanser when it comes to the Marvel Universe and the amount of things that you think have to watch. I mean, how much crap do you have to watch to get Secret Invasions?
That's true.
Yeah, so this is kind of like just a little bit. It might feel a little bit out of left field, and I get that for some people. But by the same token, it is also you can just plug in, watch it, go, and the job's done. So
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, fun.
Well, we pull this up. Gents, what did you think about this? Disney had an earnings call this week, and and Bob Iger came out and says, "Hey, that in 2024, Deadpool 3," and I'm thinking that he's thinking other than of course, the Madam verse that's just about to come out, will be the only new MCU theatrical release. And then goes on to talk about the other stuff that will be happening for Marvel MCU stuff, which is the Wanda spinoff for Agatha Darkhold Diaries, Eyes of Wakanda, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Marvel Zombies. However, he wasn't quite sure, and they couldn't hold him down to whether some of that other stuff is definitely going to be released in 2024. But he says, "Hey, we're going to slow everything down right now. This is what you get, and then just hold on, and we'll see what else is going to happen."
Did I also read something about the Lando Calrissian
Yeah.
series getting a movie? Or is it the other way around? Was it going to be a movie and now it's going to be a show, or was it going to be a show and now it's a movie?
I'm not sure. Because I mean that's Star Wars stuff. So I think they're gonna leave it up to the new bloke who's taking the helm over Kathleen Kennedy, to decide how that's going to roll. I haven't heard any new Star Wars news other than the fact that Ashoka is going to get a new comic book series coming out soon.
There's something missing in this announcement. Where's the X-Men 97 cartoon? Because they said he had 3 animated projects: Eyes of Wakanda, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Marvel Zombies. I've heard Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man for the last 2 years. X-Men 97 is presumably in the can, like done, just waiting to come out. And I heard it was supposed to be coming out by summer. So
Well,
where is that in this announcement?
well, I mean, isn't X-Men owned by Is X-Men
Sony?
owned by
No.
Disney? Is it owned
Well,
by Sony, or is it owned by Fox, or who's it owned by? That might be why it didn't make it into this announcement, and why
no.
also Madamverse didn't.
X-Men is full on MCU now. That's why we're getting Deadpool 3 in the MCU, and that's why we've been waiting so long for X-Men. But this is, and you're right, they didn't mention Madam Web in here at all, but I don't think they count Madam Web or any of the Sony stuff as actually MCU. So, but the X-Men 97 should be squarely in this announcement, because this is all that. In fact, when Disney bought the X-Men franchise, when they bought Fox, everything came under this umbrella, and the X-Men the cartoon was one of the first announcements they said they were going to do, right?
Yeah.
So, and we've got what two toy series already out, right? Two waves of the X-Men 97 toys. So we know it's imminent, because you don't release a toy line until the project's ready to go.
Yeah. So the other news that came out of this was the fact that well, the other news that came out of this week was the Pirates of the Caribbean. Now they're going to do, instead of having a male lead or bringing Johnny Depp back, they decided that they're going to have a female lead for Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently, there's a series out there called Bear, which I have not watched yet, but apparently people say it's good. Her name is Ayo Adebiri. She's going to be one of the pirates of this new female-led Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's
I say Caribbean. Just want to say.
Caribbean.
We are no longer an empire freaking colony, dear Johnny.
Shut up, Jamie Foxx. Shut up, Jamie Foxx. I don't need to listen to your rebel. Yeah. Get back to rapping.
So okay, so the Pirates of the Caribbean,
whatever.
is it
Pirates
of the South, Equator Islands.
That kind of just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. I don't know. Are we getting a comic book series of this?
I hope not.
What's up?
Because I mean, we say I say I hope not, but Dynamite have been doing a decent little legendary Red Sonja series.
Yes.
Which features Sonja as a pirate, and that works quite well, I have to say. But I don't know. Can we see a Marvel book that's Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know. Did they try to do that with one of the X-Men books? Didn't they? The Marauders.
Oh yeah.
Kitty Pryde on a boat.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. How did that work?
Yeah, I don't think so.
And the bigger news that shot the Disney stock up this week was Disney announced that they are buying a huge piece of Fortnite. And the connection, of course, is that there has been Fortnite crossover freaking books. They're going to buy them for like 1.5 billion. Yeah, there was DC as well, but now, hey, if DC wants to do it, they're going to have to pay Disney. It's just going to be like that. $1.5 billion. So I know you guys probably don't play it, everything, but this is big news. Yeah, this is big freaking news. So if you guys got Disney stock, man, we can hold on to that, because they also say, hey, we're going to do this. We're also going to do more dividends, and they're going to buy back more Disney stock, because this right here is huge news right there.
That's interesting, and nothing makes me feel older than when these big things come up, and I feel like it's one of those things that's totally passed me by. Both of my kids play Fortnite, and I just didn't see the whole thing.
The value, yeah.
I was just like, what are you guys doing? Microtransactions? You're spending all my money on this? I don't know. Yeah, but I got to get this new Darth Vader skin. What? I have no idea. So it is one of these phenomenons that it's actually several years old now, right? So I just I don't know. I'll just keep my my regularly scheduled video games, but I just don't get this one. So
I'll say this now. I've never played Fortnite. I have no intention of playing Fortnite. I know the kids, my nephews and nieces love it. It's not my cup of tea. That's not to say it's a bad game. It's just not for me. So if Disney want to go out and buy it, I think for me it's a win-win for the Fortnite guys because they can only carry on so much with the same microtransaction mentality before the kids age out. So it's a win-win for them for sure. For Disney, you're going to get the recurring continuation of like, so as the older kid ages out, the younger kid will get into it. But I don't know. Those microtransactions get just old real quick. On any game, by the way, that's not just a Fortnite game. That's all microtransactions in video games get old.
What do they call it? Pay to win?
Pay to play or something.
Pay to win?
Yeah.
No, but well, it's free to play, but pay to win.
Pay to win.
So.
Yeah.
And it's just I play a couple of video games on my phone, and the amount of times I've had to think, the only way I could get by something is to actually go and purchase the character. It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
Nope.
I mean,
well, they get you because it's like, maybe $5, maybe $5, and then before you know it, it's $5 here, $5 there, and it adds up.
So. I don't mind the $5. I get that, and I think if I'm paying $5 once every 2 months, I'm like, yeah, okay. But it's when you have to pay £85 to get a character.
Yep, not worth it.
I'm like £85. I mean, I love Zatanna as much as the next person, but I'm not going to spend £85 to play on a video game.
I would argue that you love Zatanna more than the next person.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Well, I was just being nice to all the other next people. That's
yeah, but yeah. So when it comes to that, there are some games that they decided to be hyper realistic, like NBA 2K, NFL, Madden, all that other stuff. So now you got to go to practice in order to get your players better. So in order to get around that practice, sometimes you have to do those microtransactions and everything. So that's where that comes in. But that's not exactly how Fortnite works. But people love the costumes. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if they decide to do a Fortnite land, right, where you can go and visit the Fortnite characters, or you can go to Disneyland or Disney World and play a Fortnite type laser tag, because they got all types of creative stuff going on right now. So I think that's where they plan on making their money at. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is a comic book podcast, so let's kind of see what's going on in the land of Marvel Comics this week. Did we want to mention the tragic passing of a crew member on the set of Wonder Man this week? There was a rigger that fell from one of the sets, right?
Yeah, he was walking on the catwalk. His name was Juan Ocasio-Cortez. He was walking on the catwalk. They weren't shooting at the time, so we're not exactly sure why he was on a catwalk, but he just fell out. They rushed him to the hospital, where he eventually passed away. So what of course, the ramifications are, of course, your insurance rates go up, which means some of these expenses goes up for some of these movies and everything. It's not good. And of course, the IATSE, which is the union for these type of groups, they're going to be all over Marvel's behind to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Which, of course, that's even more of an expense. And they just plan to do another strike, or to vote on another strike pretty soon. So I'm pretty sure, once again, man, this is going to get crazy.
Crew member safety is paramount. So, and of course, we don't know what happened. So, who knows if it was the person that died doing something he wasn't supposed to, or if it was just unsafe working conditions. But I did read OSHA is investigating. So, yeah. So it's unfortunate, but these things happen. I think the last set death I can remember is on the set of The Walking Dead, I think in its last or the second to last season. Do you remember?
No.
I know. Do you remember? He wasn't walking after that, but he fell off the back of a truck or something.
Are we forgetting the Alec Baldwin one?
Oh yeah, I did forget about that. But
Oh yeah. Well, that one's even more interesting because um, Alan ba- Alan Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, the actor, is not getting sued or not getting charged. However,
Yeah,
Alec Baldwin, the producer, who
is.
as a separate entity, is, um, and that's very interesting because out of those last union contracts that define the difference between an actor and a producer and a director, that's what made this possible, is that past freaking that thing that came out within the last year or
Mm.
so. So man, it's gonna be rough because now once again now you're gonna have to get insurance as not only an actor but also as a producer as well.
Well, you should be getting that anyway, really, to be fair. But
Yep. That either that or don't handle live weapons on set. Hey, hey.
Hey,
can we say the crow?
Yeah, that's a blast from the past, but
Mm.
literally. Um,
Boom.
boom, ching. All right, so let's jump into our first comic book review. Believe it or not, the Avengers #10 is actually Johnny's pick this week.
Yeah, I thought I'm not going to lie here. I thought it was a sorry slate of books to say the least, and I had to like really work hard to try and find something that I actually wanted to read. Um, I looked at your book. No, I did. I looked at uh, Jamie's book there, Jamie Foxx's book. Um, I stopped now. I stopped. I looked at Luke's book first. I was like, no, I can't read this, and then we've got to go to do it anyway. So, all right. So, Avengers 10, written by Jed McKay, art by C.F. Villa. Federico Bluey is on colors, and VC's Corey Pettit is on letters. So, I have a confession when it comes to this book. We reviewed, I think we reviewed issues 1 and 4, something crazy like that. We looked at this series before. And through many time constraints on my life, whether it be, podcasts or reviews or, doing an actual paid job, somewhere around the line, I haven't read the book since. So I was coming in this book thinking, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
That said, the book serves two purposes. One, ties up the current storyline, and then has started to set up the next one, which I found both storylines are handled really well, which you'd expect because you know how much I love McKay. I love how he's still making Kang relevant when nobody else cares that much, especially now he's being done by the MCU. I love the continuity elements with looking for this one moment, which was hinted at in a couple of timelesses ago. Is timelesses a word? Anyway,
Timeless yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can spell Mississippi, but I can't spell timelessness. All right, okay. So I thought that was interesting. I love the partnership with Thor and Wanda. That's an interesting kind of mix there, and Wanda looks great in this book. I think CF Villa has the art down bang on. I'm not keen on the adamant style jacket for Captain Marvel. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all.
Well, that's not the artist's fault, right? That's
Yeah,
from
no,
Captain
I get
Marvel's
that.
own book.
Yeah, I get that. I totally understand that. But for what it was, I thought this book was a good fun read. I thought the conclusion of the storyline was well done. There are ramifications. It does kind of reset the board a little bit. And the next one, the idea that nightmares and addict of people's dreams, I think it's an interesting take on a villain that probably is a little bit seen as a whole old hat. To be honest, well, yeah, I thought very. It doesn't. The thing I like about this Avengers book is it doesn't do more than it says it's going to do. You know, the previous run, was it Hickman? Not Hickman. Who was it? Aaron. Aaron promised us all this, like, whoa, event shaping, universe spanning, time shifting bunch of bollocks. And you're like, I just don't care. This is just a straight up superhero book. And I'm all right with that, to be fair. There you go.
Lucas?
So every time I'm looking at some of these, I'm looking at this as if it's supposed to be a script of like how this would kind of fit, and you got these Twilight Court guys, which is supposed to be like this weird type of amalgamation of nothing, and the what do you call it, King Arthur's court, right?
Okay.
The problem is that people are kind of tired of King Arthur's court because there's movies every 2 to 3 years of King Arthur and King Arthur's court and everything. So I guess this is Marvel trying to get into the King Arthur's and make maybe a movie, maybe a series, something like that. And I do think that the ideas that they're trying to do here with the Twilight Court is fine, but I needed a little bit more. They probably should have did it a little bit slower, right? Pulled
Mhm.
it a little bit out, but instead we got what, 4 or 5 issues of this thing, and then they immediately went and started fighting the Avengers. How about we drop them down, make us understand what the Twilight Court is really about, what they care about, what they're supposed to be protecting, and then show me where they're bumping heads with the Avengers. That's what I'm, because I mean it's that's bound to happen, right? This is my turf. This is your turf. Well, let's go battle over it. But that's not
I
what
think,
happened. It was just manually for like nothing. What I don't understand. Go ahead, Johnny.
but I think it's a great point. It's a great point to make. But that storytelling model is what doomed the last Avengers book, with Aaron spending so much time setting up all the other stuff. To how many issues do we have Avengers comics with no Avengers in? Because she was too
Oh,
busy setting us up. And then when the big climactic, yeah, this is my turf, your turf, we're like, I actually genuinely don't care anymore. I think I like the fact that this book seems a little bit more reactive from that point of
Yeah,
view. But it's a
right,
great. I mean, if I think specials like Timeless help set this up.
right.
But
Well, what you can do is instead of putting them all in the Avengers book, drop them in different parts of the other books, right? Drop them in
Mhm.
the Iron Man book, drop them in a Captain America book, drop them in the Captain Marvel book, drop them in the Wanda book. 'Cause even though actually she did, she just have a book out, which
hmm
I keep forgetting. you know, and then eventually, just shut those story down line for just a second, and then pull it all together in this book if you want to, because that's what it's supposed to be, the bringing these Avengers together,
Mhm.
and then show how they take care of it instead of just throwing it for volume at the volume at the volume of this. And I mean, I see the vision, but they probably could have did it a little bit better, a little bit slower, and made this an all-time great story. The art was good, right? It didn't freaking blur my eyes. Having to read the bubbles and not have anything new told to me, that was a little tiresome.
Mm.
Um, the whole thing with Murden and Kang, I didn't understand what was going on. I had half suspected because I think it was either the first issue or the second issue, they had mentioned that King Arthur was gay, and I had expected that to come to a head. That for that to matter, it didn't freaking matter. Um,
No pun intended there, of course.
yeah, yeah, I was like, okay, I was like, oh, because look, this is what I'm desperate for. I'm desperate for them to, when they mention the sexuality of these characters, for that to be a big point in how the story carries or how the story ends or how that character acts, and it hasn't been. They it's it's been very disappointing, right? Because look, you want to freaking do this
Um,
whole gender thing,
I don't know.
great, but it just hasn't.
I
Like
tend
even
I
in the
to,
think
Iceman book, even
I
the
think
I
Iceman
that's
book,
think
editorial mandate. I
I
think
just
it's
think
mandated. Go ahead, Johnny.
I just think I hear you, and I think there should be representation in comic books. But if you are going to turn around and make a character gay, bi, lesbian, switch the gender, whatever, then that doesn't define that character, and it should be a natural progression for that. The amount of, I mean, the amount of flack that the John Kent Superman book gets, because it's not, they haven't done it in a organic manner. They've just come out and said, "Oh, da-da." Same with the Robin book at DC, the Try Hard, and yet when you talk about Harley and Ivy, or even Ivy and Wonder Woman, as people are talking this week, that feels more as an organic progression for those characters. So if you're going to make a character gay, fine. I don't need the story to be about them being gay. I don't care who Spider Man sleeps with. I don't care who Reed Richards sleeps with. I'm reading it for the comic book.
hmm
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, it's like It's like, do you remember? I don't know if you watched it, but there's the episode where Barry of the Flash, where Barry and Iris get married, and all the other cast members turn up, and there's two lesbian characters in it, Supergirl's sister and the White Canary, and as soon as they meet, they start like having a thing, having a romantic interlude, and I don't have a problem with that, but when a straight man meets a straight woman at a wedding, they don't automatically just start having a romantic interlude. They shake their hands and say, "Thank you very much. See you later. Adios. Have a good time." So
Yeah.
how these separate things are then used to drive a story? That there's more interesting facts about Supergirl's sister and the White Canary in that show than the fact that they're lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but again, I think there should be LGBTQ plus characters in comic books, but it's got to be done correctly. Dreamer, for example, is supposed to be trans. There is nothing in that character when you read that book or where she features that ever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So telling me that she's trans is what exactly? At least the Barbara Gordon roommate, went through stages, and you saw her go to some of the appointments and have conversations and so on. But yeah, that's just me. I'm getting cancelled after the show, aren't I?
No,
we can't do this show without you, Johnny. So my opinion on Avengers number 10. I'm gonna and then I'm gonna kind of lump in this whole run a little bit, good and bad. I do think that you remember we used to get these captions of check out Timeless #1 from last year to find out more about the missing moment, because they mention the missing moment, but they don't really kind of go into it like they did in the issue of Timeless, which came out a whole year ago now, guys. So
there's been a second issue after that.
Yeah, so it's interesting that we're just supposed to kind of come along for the ride, and they assume that we are continuing to be older readers rather than people that might have picked up Avengers for the first time this week. So for me, I think that's kind of one of the things that is missing a little bit. The other thing, so I did think that this issue was the strongest of the four-parter here. This is the final part of Twilight Dreaming. My issue with this is the last 3 issues were the Avengers versus the Twilight Court. And for the most part, it was basically 3 issues of pinups of Avengers fighting the new bad guys. And this issue, which was very much Mirrodin versus Kang, the final battle of the Twilight Court is relegated to a first page splash, and then the battle's over. I was like, that's it. It's like the Avengers won, guys. Just in case there was any doubt, the Avengers won the fight, because at towards halfway through the issue, Captain Marvel and Iron Man go into the room with Kang, after Mirrodin rips the knowledge of the missing moment out of Kang's head and disappears. Now, I've been thinking since the first issue of Timeless came out that Mirrodin is Kang, yet another future aspect of Kang, and that the Twilight Court, the Twilight Court is the whole reason, on this the Avengers are all listed as the Construct, the
Star, the Warrior, the King.
They all had nicknames, right? So the Mirrodin's Twilight Court all had the same names. So the Knights of the Round Table, and so the Avengers are kind of Knights of the Round Table, Lucas, as you put it. So I like that aspect, and it's interesting. It's just that everything's so drawn out these days, 10 issues in, that this is the end of the second story arc, which is this. There was in the first issue, or in Timeless, didn't they list 7 or 8 new threats that the Avengers would have to face before the end of the universe. So this is the end of the second one. I think next issue is going to be kind of like a filler with Jarvis, and then we'll jump into the third arc. But the artwork's good. The writing is decent. But I think everything is just so drawn out, and I kind of feel like they don't do enough to reference what's come before. They just assume that you've read it. So that's kind of like what I would see. I would love just a one-page recap, just kind of a one-pager saying, "Hey, remember what happened a year ago? Don't die on us."
Sorry, that's fine. I'm good.
All right, so I think we all liked Avengers this week.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm buying this book.
Yeah.
Buying this book, and I've said before how much I enjoyed Jed McKay's writing. So it's good to see the old Black Cat team, because it is the old Black Cat creative team on this book.
Yeah, I'm buying issue number 6, or the part 1, solely because of the first appearance of the of the Twilight Court, because I do think there's something they can do with it. But as far as the ending, I'm like, okay, once again, it's all in the technicals and everything. So
okay, well, except for the Twilight Court first appeared in Timeless. Number the latest, the first issue of Timeless, the first appearance of Mirrodin, had the first appearance of the Twilight Court.
It must have been the second Timeless, not the first one. I'm trying to remember.
The second one, yeah, from a year ago.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a Timeless yet this year. I don't know if there's going to be.
There was the Power Fist Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, it wasn't Avengers related. I get it. We reviewed it.
We did. I was there. He lost his arm.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So, all right.
Breakfast?
I know it's lunchtime over there with that. All right. All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the final 2 books and catch up this ad for the Definitive Crusade.
Hey.
All right. Make sure to check out the Definitive Crusade, releasing on opposite weeks of No Prize Podcast, starring that guy there. Hey. All right. So let's jump into our second review, which is not Avengers number 10, but it is Fantastic Four number 17. And Lucas, this was your pick. And it's another. So it seems like time travel is the topic of the week.
Yep, it's either time travel or it's multi-universe type deals where you get characters from different universes together, or you go to a different universes. That's what Marvel's all about. I'm not sure what they're doing, but this one, Fantastic Four number 17. Subtitled Salvaged from the Wreck of Ages, written by Ryan North, art by Carlos Gomez, color artist by Jesus Arbortov, letterers VZ Joe Caramanga. And the thing that got me is because this Alex Ross piece, which is absolutely gorgeous, by the way, when it comes to the cover, it's got a dead body on there. That's obviously, but it's like a skeleton form, and it's obviously got a Fantastic Four suit. So I want to know who was this person? Yep. What the heck is going on in there? And that was so. here we are to freaking spoil it for you and tell you what the heck was going on, right? Um, so I mean, and another thing is I know I'm not the only one because this did pretty good in the pre-sales and everything. But once people start reading it, then the freaking sales say, "Whoop," nobody cared about it. So
True that. I absolutely could see that happening.
so apparently Sue Storm is now an archaeologist now or something
Yeah.
like that,
Hey,
and
Doctor Storm.
Dr. Storm. Well, excuse
Is it
me,
not Dr. Richards? She's not still married to Reed.
She is, but
Dr. Storm Richards.
Doctor Doctor.
Come on, Johnny. It's 2024. Dr. Storm Richard. Here we go. Um, so she's an archaeologist now, and she and her team were out there, and they find this thing, this structure, and then they go, well, she goes, and she noticed the fact that there is a Fantastic Four suit on there, so she immediately calls, her husband. She calls the Fantastic Four team out there, and they're like, wow, what the heck is going on? So she's like, maybe let me do this. So she decides to use her powers to make them all into like X-rays, like or do an X-ray so they can see all the stuff that's underneath. Which I wasn't sure that that was a thing, but apparently she can now. Um, and she's able to compare the bones with, and it turns out that it's her, right? Oh my goodness, well, it's her. Okay, great. So the thing is that also they were able to determine that this was from like the Pleistocene era, right? So like time of dinosaurs. So
Pleistocene.
Plasticine.
see now that you just correct me. Every time I need that word, you're gonna have to say it, Professor.
Hey, no problem. I
Um,
helped Johnny with all the creators. So.
Hey, that's true.
so they go back, and there's there they go back to that era. They time jump back to that era, and they see the dinosaurs coming up, and then they see humans coming up, and they say, oh, this is a very important time. And then wouldn't you know it, that also in that time was Kang, who had came there to destroy the humans, which I'm not
The humans that first came over to the Americas. Yeah.
which
right.
is bonkers because she says right at the start there should be a human skeleton here because they don't turn up for thousands of years, and yet on the day that she dies, allegedly, there's humans there. So it's like, come on. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet
So
now.
yeah. Well, so that's fine. I mean, so they're fighting it out with King, and then because King wanted to kill the Fantastic Fours, he wanted to kill humans that came to the Americas. So they get into a kind of squabble, and then it comes like a battle of time travelers. Like, oh, I'm gonna go back to stop you from doing this. Oh, I'm gonna go back and invent this so you can't do this. And it's both parties doing. I'm gonna go back and do this. I'm gonna go back and do this. Oh, I'm gonna go back in time and make sure that there is a body there for you to find and think that we were dead, and then that's because that's the only way to defeat a time traveler is to actually trick him. Like, okay, whatever. Um, it is the type of craziness that I expect from the Fantastic Four. So that's why I love this book because it's absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely freaking stupid. But guess what? This is the kind of stupid craziness that I actually wanted from the Fantastic Four, especially with freaking Kang. Um, doing his stupid craziness, and I don't know if he ever maybe if he didn't think that maybe he would erase himself as well, but I think not because apparently they've got some type of computer technology that can figure out which thread is him, and he's fine. But yeah, this is the craziness that I expected from the Fan 64. The art was good. The cover art was freaking great. So I know I have a feeling I know how you guys guys felt.
Well,
Johnny.
now that right, okay. So Sue Storm Richards, whatever, is now an archaeologist. It's amazing. Do you remember a couple of years ago she was a super spy as well?
Yes.
Is there no limit to the talents of this woman?
So you can be both. You can be both.
She,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because Yeah, because Indiana Jones made a great spy, didn't he?
And I thought her doctorate was like in biochemistry or something. Like I thought she was a scientist, not an archaeologist. Anyway, go ahead.
This I opened this book and I got into the bits where you can see the skeletons and stuff, and they explain it to Alicia because she can't see, and then Alicia turns around and says, "Nito." I'm like, what? Who on earth, whether you're whomever you are, says the word Nito? It's like, are you insane? Who is writing this? Who is Alicia to say Nito? She's never going to say Nito like that in a million years. Anyway, time travel. So, Kang goes back to stop the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four go back to create a weapon to stop Kang. Kang goes back to disable the weapon. The Fantastic Four go back to give a carbon copy of themselves. Kang then doesn't go back and ends up getting trashed. It's like, right, this is one of those recurring things where this issue should never end because it's like one-upmanship every time.
Yeah.
To the point where who gives a rat's ass? And I've got to be honest, if time travel was so easy, why hasn't he gone back to solve the issue with why he had to send the kids away in the first place? Why hasn't he actually done something creative? You don't just go back thousands of millions of years just because, hey, you know what, I'm going to treat you so I can get laid later, which is pretty much what happens. You know, it just the Fantastic Four book since they lost the kids for me has just been treading water. There's absolutely nothing that happens in it of any import. It's just these guys going on this rambling story. This one's a prime example where nothing ever matters because it's time travel. I will say this: the art is decent. It does have a J. Scott Campbell feel to it, especially around Sue's face and some of the body lines that they put on her. But in the grand scheme of things, it's time travel. So you know what? Next issue, you can go back and get rid of this one.
This book, since Dan Slott left, has been stupider than Johnny Storm's porn stash.
Hey, he said Storm Tash. Thank you. Phew, I was going to say I'm going to the dresses later, man.
No, this issue, which does nothing for the time travel stories that we just read in Avengers, which is doing the time travel story pretty well. This one is just bonkers because wouldn't you think as experienced as the Fantastic Four are, they find Sue's desiccated 2 million-year-old skeleton in an archaeological dig, and the first thing Sue thinks is, "Oh my God, I die here." Instead of thinking, "Oh my God, this is probably one of my millions of multiversal bodies, and some version of me died here." Instead of saying, "This is me, and I'm gonna die." So
it's not even her. It's a carbon copy of her.
I know because don't they? And Rama Tut goes back to when the first humans walked across the bridge to from Russia to go into America, and he says, "I'm going to kill all these people that way Reed and Sue never get born." That's really why he was going to kill all those people. And I'm like, well, how do you know it's that batch of people? I just don't. I didn't get it. Did you trace their lineage? Did you know that one of their ancestors is in this pile of humanity that's coming over? I mean, I would argue that probably that's not the right packet of people, but I just thought it was stupid. The stupidest thing in this issue, though, is when they were building the gun that is supposed to kill time travelers. That first of all, they didn't think, "Geez, do you think that they could turn this gun back on me because we're time travelers?" But the fact that they mention that in respect to Alicia, we all learned Braille.
That's all well and good, but does that mean every piece of scientific equipment has a braille writing on? This is I'm going to get cancelled for this. In my day job, I see a lot of braille around on like signs and stuff because it's.
Do you know Braille?
I don't. But here's my question: how does a blind person know that that's there? It's all right having braille on the wall telling you it's a male toilet.
Oh, well, no, you know the stupidest thing they have Braille on here in the States, and I don't know if they have it over there in Europe.
Go on.
They have Braille on the drive-up ATMs. That just saying, drive-up ATMs, Braille.
Yeah,
So,
I can understand if it's on like the right-hand side of a building as you walk in, you could just kind of feel and make sure, but I don't know.
But would you go out of your way? I mean, I would argue that it's probably very difficult for people that can see to learn Braille because the brain's not working correctly, right? You're not necessarily, your fingertips aren't sensitive enough to discern the dots and what they're supposed to mean. But
I imagine there's some training involved for sure. It's got to be hard, but it's always kind of bugged me a little bit. You know, when I see like a toilet sign or a fire exit sign and it's got braille next to it, I think to myself, how does a blind person even know that exists to read it? That's my question.
Yeah,
I am getting cancelled this week. I know I am.
That's not that bad. It's not bad at all, man.
Hey, you don't need to be able to see us to be able to listen to us every week on.
Hey, yeah, but just so you know, I'm the good-looking one. Thank you.
All right. So I'm guessing we didn't like this issue of Fantastic Four.
So I'm shocked that you guys didn't bring up one crucial thing. Is that this is happening in Arizona, right? Reed Richards and Sue Storm, they are obviously Europeans.
Okay.
So King went back in time to kill early Arizonians, which would normally be like Apache, Native American type deals, not anything to do with Europeans.
Yep.
So I'm gonna shout that you guys didn't mention that, but yeah.
I think Professor mentioned it. He said, "How did Kang know that these were going to be the buds that would lead to?"
But these humans should not at all be Rican Europeans. Not at all. Not even close. You know.
It was weak. The reasoning for the whole issue was weak. All right, let's move on to our final comic review, and of course we're going to talk Ultimate Black Panther. I don't know how long we're going to spend on this one, but written by Brian Hill, arts by Stefano Caselli, colors by David Curiel, letters by VC's Corey Pettit. If you didn't like it, blame Michelle Marchese and Will Moss, the editors. That's not usual our editor group. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm blaming you for making me read the damn thing. That's what I'm blaming.
So here's I'm just gonna Ultimate Black Panther. You know, of course, with this new Ultimate line, where we had the evil villainous version of Reed Richards who kind of restarted the Ultimate Universe and basically got rid of all the heroes before they were created, and now this is with Ultimate Spider-Man a couple of weeks ago, and this book is the second launch from Ultimates. Reintroduces the Black Panther to a whole new generation of readers. My big question would be, what the heck is different from this version of Black Panther to the 616 version? The only one that I can really tell is that T'Chaka's still alive for now, and until spoiler, till the end of the issue. And T'Challa is married to Okoye, and Killmonger is apparently a vigilante hero type, teamed up with Wind Rider, if you can't guess who that is. So all the same characters from Black Panther, not really much of a status quo. The biggest status quo being that the rest of the world doesn't know Wakanda exists yet, and that's the big the big thing. You have Shuri, who wants to have Wakanda kind of come out with their armies and have them realize like what a big threat Wakanda is. And of course, you have T'Challa, who doesn't want the world to know about Wakanda yet. So that's really it, right? I mean, there was huge change. If you were at Ultimate, we reviewed Ultimate Spider-Man last month. There was huge differences in that.
You've absolutely
this.
You've absolutely hit the nail on the head. I mean, the last time I read Black Panther with any length of time, it was stuck in space. So what we've got is Black Panther in Wakanda, Black Panther in Avengers, Black Panther in space. This is just another version of Black Panther. And to be honest, I'm not fond of many of them to start with. So I'm kind of on a loser for this one. I think the Panther works best as part of a team, which is why this cast is now expanded to include more people, so you get that team element. I think by himself in his own book, it becomes quite isolationist, which is ironic considering it's Wakanda. For me, I would have Wakanda being stopped from helping someone in Africa by the UN or by Shield or whatever. That would put the Panther on a different side to everybody else, and there's your Civil War 3. Simple as. Do something like that. Make Black Panther relevant again, which I don't think he's been for ages. I will say this quickly though: the Kevin Conroy effect is in place on this book, and what I mean by that is, if you're reading this book and you do not hear Chadwick Boseman's voice, you are absolutely barking up the wrong tree. I cannot help but hear his voice when I read the Black Panther book, and that's a credit to the late Chadwick for the performance that he put on for a character that I don't particularly like, but it had such gravitas and such impact. So I think that's worthy of note because it sounds like him. The dialogue, the monologue sounds like him. Other than that, I was kind of like, eh. And why are they using the X font? It's the X-Men's font they're using in this book. Is that because of the Wind Riders in it? Come on.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Come on.
But Lucas, what did you think of Ultimate Black Panther?
So the big changes, of course, were Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight, instead of one entity, is two guys.
More like a cult, right? More like a cult.
Khonshu and Ra, and the cult is the Voodoo Ra. This was the big book of the week, right? The big book. This book right here is going now for $50, $50 to $60.
I heard a truckload of these books went missing too.
12,000 books were missing, so or are now missing, right?
That must be like half the run, half the print run. How many did they print?
I don't know. I do know.
Have you seen how Thundercats sold?
I do know that the books that I ordered pre-FOC, they did arrive. I do know that my local LCS, they did have some copies, but apparently there were a lot of LCSs that did not get their copies at all.
Interesting.
So just my last point is, if you consider talking about the missing stuff, if you consider the fact that this was originally $5.99, 12,000 is about 75,000 copies or something. But now, with the fact that each one is now worth $50, that's about $700,000. That's like out in the nether regions right now.
Yeah, but that price would come down if those books turn up.
I don't know. People were, because of the Ultimate Spider-Man hype, which is still a pretty big book in its own right. I don't think those prices are going to go down. So right now, we're waiting on that, and then of course the Ultimate X-Men #1 that should be coming out in March, I believe.
That's a skip hard pass for me.
Yeah.
So
first appearance, story appearance of May Store.
Oh yeah, but it's Peach Momoko, so pass. All right. Do we have time for a quick 2-minute warning?
It would have to be quick. It have to be quick.
All right, here's the stuff that is on FOC. Avengers Twilight. This is the second printing. There was first appearance of Kamala Khan's kids, plus new Thunderbolts, plus new type of Captain America, plus a new type of Bullseye that was in that book. So people are going to be trying grabbing these second prints. If you see the first print, do not leave it on the shelves because it's grabbing some money. Then there's the Avengers Twilight issue #3. There's several covers for that one.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's weird because look at the horns, the kind of extended. I don't know whether that's a Loki thing that they're going to go into or what. But then there's the Simon Bianchi 150.
Don't like that one.
I forget who did this one, but this one looks really good as well. Avengers number 16. I forget what this is an homage to, but it's a what if.
It's an homage to the cover of Avengers 16.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Nah,
Symbiote Spider-Man 2099.
nah.
More Miss Minutes covers.
Meh.
Immortal Thor. Yeah.
Not a lot of good covers this week, huh? What's up?
Carnage number 5.
That looks like a chalk drawing.
This. This is still Carnage, but this is with Spider-Gwen on there for some reason. Then we go into Spider-Gwen Smash, David Nakayama.
I'd like to smash Spider-Gwen.
This is a Yakagawa cover.
Oh, that's not a bad cover.
This one is, I think this one is Elizabeth Torque. I might be mistaken. But
Are they making Dazzler look like Taylor Swift on purpose, or?
Yes, they're doing that absolutely on purpose. Then here's your X-Men.
I didn't think Dazzler wore like a leotard. I thought she was always a long leg bodysuit, but never mind.
This is
Hey,
get into the 2020s there, Johnny. This isn't the 70s anymore.
If you can promise me that Taylor Swift will be in a leotard in Deadpool 3, then I'll be all about it. You know what I mean? There's your X-Men cover. This one, there's a 1/100 of this one. Here's your Alex Ross.
That's not bad.
This is your Polaris 1/25.
It's an Art Adams cover.
It's awful.
Yeah.
This one? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. That's pretty good. Alien, Black, White, and Blood. And let me tell you, we haven't reviewed this one. This series has been good. I already read this one. Just the art against the red stuff against the black and white contrast is absolutely fantastic. And this is what Aliens needed to be. Ultimate Black Panther #1 second print. This is what sent everybody in the tizzy because they saw all these new characters on there and they're like, well, what the heck is going on? The only new character,
the only new character are the Ra and Khonshu people. Everybody else is old.
Yep. What if Venom? Kyle Holtz 1/25. Black Widow, Hawkeye art germ. And
I like that cover.
I like that cover.
She's got fishnets on her top there, Johnny.
Whoa! Whoa!
Breaks out the glasses. Let me see. Go ahead. And then there's an Adam Hughes cover for it.
I like that cover too. That kind of looks like the 70s of the 60s Avengers TV show, right? Like a little...
I have not watched that. Huh. Black Hat Jackpot Elizabeth Torque. There's a 1/100.
I love Black Cat. I am not touching that book with a barge pole.
Good. Did we get to review it? Awesome. This is a Yoon.
Terrible.
100. Hildebrandt.
That's nice. Does anyone actually care about Jackpot as a character?
No. Not even a little.
Yeah, once they took her out of that dimension and took the kids away, no. Jackpot and Black Cat at the strip club.
It's probably the worst case of character assassination I've seen in like the last 5 years.
Then this one is going to be a foil. So this should probably go for $8 to $9. All right, quickly, new releases that are coming out this week. Miles Morales Spider-Man. This one is sold out already. And also the one to the right, which has a character on there that I've never seen before. That one is not necessarily sold out, but it's in stock. It's in stock, but it's very low. Then Vengeance of the Moon Knight, Volume 2, the cover E by David Finch. There is a 1/100 of this one as well.
I like that cover.
Star Wars High Republic Adventures, Phase 3, #3, Taliba. And there's also a spoiler variant that we don't have the art for.
What's Magneto doing on that cover?
I looked at it quick and I was like, why is that a Star Wars book?
And then the Ultimate Spider-Man #1 issue, second print. Spider-Gwen Smash #3, the Gawa variant.
Harry Dazzler.
Costumes correct. Costumes correct.
Well, she needs a roller boots and then she'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, the bell bottoms too, but
Yeah.
And that was your 5-minute, 2-minute warning.
yay! All right. Well, thank you all for joining me today for this episode of No Prize Podcast. Be with us in a couple of weeks, and we'll do it all again.
Go Niners!
Hey, yeah. Hey, it's a Super Bowl this weekend. Make sure you watch it.
Go chicken wings.
All right. All right. Until I see you again. Stay safe.
Adios.
Well,